Welcome back. In the previous part, we learnt a bit more about the will of Dahna and the visions we're having. And for some reason, we're walking very slowly to the teleporter. Not sure why. I know why we're walking to the teleporter.
Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shionne's thorns, as well as my own past.
Just not why I'm walking there slowly.
I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens.
Is this the point of no return? Is this the end of the game? The only way is forward.
I'm determined to save Shionne and Dahna. Nothing I learn can change that.
I doubt it's the end. I just think it's probably a big boss fight or something. It'd be a bit short if it was the end. Just very strange with the slow walking towards the teleporter. Alright. My mind's very much like, where's the nearest fast travel location? It's like, we'll be fine. Thinking my CP and stuff. Can't I use the teleporter at the other end?
Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out.
But... fine.
This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
The Forbidden Zone?
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the Sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. But a place on this scale? How do they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the Sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No, not that I can remember. Then again, Sovereigns and Forbidden Zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
The Forbidden Zone is a hallowed place, at one with the Sovereign's authority, grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is what we believed this place to be. No, what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long.
I don't want to interact with that yet. I want to look at the plants and stuff, but... it's just simple trees. Yeah, I saw this when we were doing Alphen's past. It's like, what's the red bit? It looked like a brain to me, so... it's showing Lenegis structures. You can see pipes for transporting astral energy sticking out of them. Okay, so it's taking all that to the other side. So I'm wondering if it's a case of, like, the blue bit is made up of literally the planet, like the Dahna planet, and the other side is Rena. Like, that's a bit of that planet. It's showing the room's equipment. It's been used. It hasn't been used for a long time. It has been used for a long time. Like, yeah, that makes sense. I doubt that's going to say anything interesting. Right. Let's interact with that.
I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Dahnan astral energy so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign?
Wait, there's more. Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Course. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list of names, with the title Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
It's fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only Sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest. It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign, and Volron as well. The significance of this location would suggest...
Hey, it looks like the terminals in here turned on too.
We should look through them. They might contain valuable information.
So for me, it's a case of, is the entire crown contest just a way to, like, literally keep siphoning that astral energy to Rena a different way? Because Rena's dying? Skit.
Only 2 sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all this time? And if that's the case, why keep on doing it? Was there really no other way? Or could there be some other reason?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine. I'm just a little shaken, that's all. I knew what I was already, so it's not like it's a surprise or anything. But it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for. I'm scared that I'll put a face to it, just to have someone to blame.
If that were to happen, then No. Then we'd help you fight it, before you ever got that far. Wouldn't we, everyone?
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you spiral out of control.
That's right. No good can come from being consumed by hatred.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back. To remind you where home is.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Thank you, everyone. I think I'll be okay now.
Let's have a look at these terminals then. Select a topic to explore. Sedative mask, brainwashing report. I want something more specific, because we have ideas on what this is, so... Lenegis, detachable harvester. So far, like, out of these 4, I'm thinking I want at least... Well, we'll see all of them, actually. It's like sedative mask. A device covering the wearer's whole face that restricts their mental activity was developed for the purpose of pacifying prisoners. Medical applications are also recognized, particularly as a means of preventing patients from sustaining mental trauma. However, doing so is not recommended, as prolonged use of the device carries the risk of inducing a number of adverse side effects. Addendum. Due to the loss of production facilities incurred from the partial destruction of Lenegis, additional devices will no longer be manufactured. Okay, brainwashing report. After receiving reports of a robust new form of rule emerging in Dahna's water realm, a study was commissioned to investigate the matter in depth. The system is unique in that it elevates only the Lord as the supreme authority while relegating both Renans and Dahnas alike to enslavement. Test subject 10105 serves as the realm's current Lord and has achieved this without the use of any special powers, drugs, or special devices. Rather, it has been done by sheer governance. Given this method's effectiveness at population control, monitoring of the situation will continue. Addendum 1. Collapse of cognitive facilities via extreme mental oppression rooted in violence and fear has proven to be key to this style of rule. Once the subject loses its autonomy, they become desensitized to fear and subsequently cease to prioritize even their own personal safety. Though such a state is ill-suited for commanding officers, it remains an effective way to cultivate disposable infantry and slaves for manual labor. Addendum 2. Soldiers in Lenegis, who have undergone this treatment, will be asked to secure classified sectors as a trial. The results will be monitored. Nope. There we go. Lenegis. A large-scale astral energy converter that primarily converts the elemental composition of Dahna's astral energy and transmits it to Rena. Activation and control of astral energy conversion. See, it's the conversion I'm thinking, like, that's the key, isn't it? But yeah, the astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign, Maiden, and Rena's armour within the central core of Lenegis. It is comprised of a classified and essential personal resident zones around a large conduit, along with a defensive layer surrounding them. This outer layer is deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit while simultaneously functioning as the stabilization mechanism. Due to its design, deployment of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones. They knew. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the spirit channeling ceremony, no one contingency plan to address said damage is needed. Aha! Until that phase, Lenegis serves as the central base of operations for the management and execution of the crown contest on Dahna. Warning: any personnel with level 3 authority or lower is strictly forbidden from the classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. Ooh, detachable harvester. A massive spirit vessel placed on Dahna for the spirit channeling ceremony. It serves as the tip of Lenegis' conduit, from which it separates. Upon landing in Dahna waters, it extends 2 sets of conducting pathways. The vertical pathways connect to the center of Dahna. Meanwhile, the horizontal pathways proceed to envelop the entire surface of Dahna. Once activated, its links to the biological spirit vessels placed in each realm effectively harvest the planet's astral energy en masse. The accumulated energy is then transmitted to Rena via Lenegis. Because construction and adjustment take place in the Forbidden Zone's regulation area, Lenegis' outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended to function semi-autonomously, only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface with it when necessary. No other personnel is required for its function. Addendum 1. Detachable Harvester No. 1 was lost on Dahna after exploding due to the rampancy exhibited by the Sovereign. Addendum 2. Detachable Harvester 2's landing point will remain the same as that of the previous model. This is due to the explosion of the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection to the center of Dahna. Yeah, we've seen the map in the past, there's like a big circle area in the middle. So I was wondering about that. Which, this implies the ceremony is being undertaken right now, right? Which means there has to be another Sovereign, and I thought we killed him. Sector topic: Lords. Each crown contest, 5 of the best qualified members of the Rena populace are chosen to act as Lords, vying to serve as the next Sovereign. During their tenure, they are granted level 3 authority as well as one of the 5 elemental realms to administer, and its corresponding Master Core. They are also assigned an ID crest indicating their designated element. The selection process is based only on astral artistry and physical and mental aptitude. Other variables such as age have no bearing whatsoever. Because only the strongest go on to become Lords, the position itself does not inherently make an individual any stronger. It should be noted, however, that Lords are not the only individuals capable of drawing out a Master Core's power. All Renans must take part in the selection process, and acceptance of the position is mandatory. It is not allowed for those deemed suitable to decline. Furthermore, in the event that an acting Lord is incapacitated and can no longer serve in their position, a replacement must be quickly prepared. Unique Adjustment Index Test Subject Report. Yes. The following is a report on the second successful case of Sovereign Test Subject experimentation. Test Subject 10105, given name Volren, Generation NA, Unique Adjustment Index Ethnicity NA. Although subject possesses high latent potential, it exhibits significant mental instability along with a strong distaste for following orders. As such, the risks it poses surpass even those of the last successful subject, itself Athenia, and is therefore under consideration for disposal. Addendum: this is the first successful case in 300 years. Previously mentioned risk factors are now mitigated due to the established control protocols. Subject is to be evaluated under the assumption that Plan 2 will proceed and will be dispatched to Dahna under the guise of serving as a Lord. He's still alive, then he's still around. And this is the plan. Master Cores. Master Cores are instruments of power containing astral energy that belongs to one of the 6 elements. 5 of these Master Cores, those with earth, water, fire, wind, and light, are loaned to Renan Lords at the time of the crown contest. Only the Dark Master Core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone until the Renus Alma is ready to be reformed, its existence kept top secret. Underneath a Master Core's spherical outer layer is a force field crystal used for the purpose of astral energy containment and stabilization. Inside the force field, astral energy is stored in a dormant state. For the duration of the tenure, each Lord competes in the crown contest to amass their allotted type of astral energy. In the event of an emergency, each lord may be allowed to withdraw from their respective stock of astral energy as necessary. However, their extent allowed is determined based on their own individual strength. Addendum 1. Design flaws have been discovered in how the Renus armour materializes. Be advised that active master cores may resonate with other master cores located in close proximity and become unstable. Addendum 2. Due to successful regeneration of the Renus armour, master cores will cease to be deployed and the crown contest will be permanently halted. Oh. Spirit cores. Spirit cores are end terminals used for the collection of astral energy. When embedded in a biological subject, it establishes connections throughout its body. These connections are used to amass astral energy generated from physical activity, which is then emitted from the host body itself. So that's why they went and made them slaves. Because this emitted energy is prone to diffuse, the host must be placed within range of a spirit vessel for the energy to be collected. So that's why 300 years ago. Until then they were doing it a different way, I imagine. This means that Dahnas must be employed to harvest the astral energy for the purpose of the crown contest. Given the difficulty in producing them, it is advised that spirit cores be retrieved from host bodies and reused upon their death. Oh. Spirit cores can also be embedded in Zeugles to control them via astral arts. Addendum: increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral energy emissions. Final confirmation of ideal workload to impose on host bodies without inducing death for maximum astral energy yield is still pending. So they made them slaves. That makes sense of a lot of details now, that really does. I'm assuming that was it for the terminals, by the way. It's not like more in other rooms, is there? A lot of numbers, logs, alignments. No. Okay, is there going to be like a treasure chest down here? Yes. Like, with it being like Alphen's room, would you even call it that? I don't know. Just suspected there'd be something here. Room changed over 3 centuries. It's like time itself has stopped here. Alright, in we go. Another vision.
Naori, I...
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dahna. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Alphen. Farewell.
Naori...
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen. That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain as a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
And look what you did because of that. Dahna is essentially free at this point. Still gotta do other stuff, but it's essentially free. Big room. Okay. I expected more then. Obviously. Heavy tree, alright. And that looks a bit like the wedge. Nothing in here? Very well. Yeah, this look organic look to everything here. The plant here. Wondering if that's the Helgen fruit. Could be.
This place. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Of course. After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Naori.
What is this? Is it the work of Dahna's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening.
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead. That's what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen the Sovereign was in a starship bound for Dahna. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse onto my descendants as well. Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Dahnan voice speaking through her?
Or mix of both. I like it, I like it.
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shionne, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Shionne.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Rennis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shionne at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shionne. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop. Thank you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shionne. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony and Naori's attempt to stop oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead, and it's for my sake, so I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
Powerful words there from Alphen. Jeez. Of course it has a fork on it. It's cool, it's cool. Let's get that. Get that. That. What am I missing in terms of like getting hers unlocked? Ah. Lot of dead NPCs everywhere. I haven't forged a Mystic Crest. Don't I have one? Ultimate ingredient. Yeah, That's fair. That's my bad. That's my bad. Oh. A sword given to the chosen sovereign that draws out all their latent power so as to carry out the spirit channeling ceremony. Usual stuff. Endurance. Capable of interfering with astral energy, it's worn to contain the sovereign's power. Pedestal where the Renan's armor sat 300 years ago, now it gives off no trace of power. Alright, well, let's have a view of the skip. Which way did I come in?
Sounds like this Naori chick had quite the big heart.
Her position demanded nothing less. From the sound of things, she didn't focus on differences, least of all those between Renans and Dahnans.
Yeah. It was Naori who first showed me that such a thing was even possible. And then she saved my life by sending me back home to Dahna.
Not only that, but she willingly stayed behind on Lenegis for the sake of her people. It sounds like she was quite the hero, all right. A truly caring person.
It's as if walls meant nothing to her. The ones separating the Renans from the Dahnans, or herself from others. She had no need for them.
Which basically meant that she never had anything to break down in the first place, huh? Yeah. I think you may be right about that.
You inherited that legacy. Her wish for the world.
Don't I know it?
She's kind of like a lodestar guiding our way, showing us what we can aspire to.
Indeed. Right, so I'm thinking this will be a nice place to end this part before we proceed, because there's clearly going to be a boss fight coming soon. But I'm thinking it would be nice if this was a kind of midpoint in the game, to be honest. And the second half of the game is exploring Rena in the same way we explored Dahna. That would be interesting in itself. I doubt it, but they could have done, and it could have been very, very cool. Could have been very cool. But, like I said, we're done for this part. In the next part, we'll find the right door to go through. Ta-ta for now.